Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of 15 Good Minutes. As always, it's your guy, Coach B, here with the A-team as always. Freddie, what's happening, man?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. JR, how about yourself, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm starting to get comfortable with this weather, which is actually staying one temperature instead of keep going back and forth. So I'm ready for this baseball season, so everything is good.
Everything is good, man. Baseball season is underway. Short show topic today. Just want to kind of talk in general terms about the NBA playoffs. By the time this show airs, the playing games will be over. So I don't really want to focus on those. But today I just want to kind of get you guys' thoughts on, playoffs in general, format. I'm not going to ask you to pick anybody, but I'm looking for some unique things. So I'll start the conversation off with the last. It was Sunday, I think. Last Sunday was the last day of the regular season. And me and Freddie was on the wire chatting because, two teams had altercations within themselves on the last day, right? You got Rudy Gobert, who punched Kyle, what's his last name? Anderson on the bench. He gets ejected, and therefore he isn't playing in tonight's game. And I forget the guy that punched the wall and broke his own hand on the same team, right? So that's Minnesota. Then, you fast forward and you look over at what's the new team now that Bones Highland is on? He got in an argument with Clippers. So him and Plumlee get into it, but that one didn't escalate to the way that it did. So I'm going to start with that and say, I'm leaving one more comment. Today, what's my man's name? KG was like, no harm, no foul. He's like, they ready in playoff mode. Now I'm gonna put it to you guys. Is that okay? Are you used to it? Have you seen it in the areas that you guys have coached? Internal fighting, at this point in the season, we ain't talking about trying to make the squad. It's the last day of the season. Freddie, I'll start with you.
No, I am not okay with it. Let's just be honest. To Kevin Garnett's point, he was the biggest bully on any team he ever played on. So wasn't nobody gonna punch him. If anything, he was gonna be the one punching somebody, right? So no, right? So I'm not in agreement with that activity and that behavior because it messes up chemistry. It's okay to have disagreements, but when you step outside of those boundaries, because everybody, you're playing for something. You're a man, and I'm a man, and this and that, and it's on national television. Then, how you going to go home and tell your wife to make you a sandwich, but you just let this guy punch you, right?
Well, first off, my wife going to say, why are you telling me to make a sandwich? Make your own damn sandwich. But I'll table that for another day. JR, you saw some of this action. How you feel about it?
Well, I never thought it was good. And I go by the old adage that dirty laundry stays in house. Whatever happens, what I'm saying?
So you okay with what happened, just not in a public eye?
Well, no, I'm not okay with that because you can't, as an old friend said, you can't chump a man in front of everybody and think nothing's going to happen, because like Freddie was saying, we all adults here, we all getting paid money. So, and I understand, I don't know if I could have played with a guy like Jordan, for instance, because Jordan would dog the people on the team. There's a way you talk to people. It doesn't matter how it is. You know what I'm saying?
You think that was the case with Mike? You thought it was about money?
Well, no, his was about playing.
His was about winning.
Yeah, it's about winning. It was about winning. But still, no matter how much you like to win, you can't just dog somebody because you the king of the molehill. That's just my opinion.
I agree with the sentiment. I just don't know if I'm ready to say that Mike was a dog to everybody that he played with. I think Mike was demanding. I think Kobe was demanding.
Yes.
Right? I think Magic was demanding. I think Bird was demanding. I don't know that I can say demanding. Mike was a.
There's nothing wrong being demanding, but he punched Steve Kerr in the face one time for something, didn't he? See what I'm saying? So you're trying to demand a man.
Well, I'm gonna say this. And I don't know what happened in the Bones Highland situation, but I'm still amazed, number one, that Kyle Anderson is in the NBA. The slowest shot in the world, scores absolutely nothing, did nothing from Memphis. That's one thing. But what he said, JR, during the timeout to Rudy, To me, he's basically said, why don't you get more rebounds?
No, he said block a shot.
Block a shot. I'm sorry.
Rudy said the rebound.
You need to get some rebounds. And here's my thing, Kyle. When you've been the multiple NBA Defensive Player of the Year at least once, you can come out your mouth like that. But you can't say that to somebody who has more blocks, in a season than you had your whole career and more rebounds than that. And I think it's just wrong. It can escalate. I'll put it that way. So I can't just condemn it. I think JR's right. I'm okay with it, especially if it happens behind closed doors. Yes. I had one of my best players knock out another one of my best players in practice. In practice. And I couldn't catch him in time before his face hit the floor.
But it was in-house.
It was in-house, and I was okay with that too. So I said, all I'm saying is I agree that you can't chump a man, but I mean, I saw what happened with Golden State beginning of this year with Jordan Poole.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I had a problem with that. So that I look at the situation. That's why I say I don't know what happened with Bones, and Plumlee, but I do know what happened in the case of Minnesota. And Kyle, you just got traded to that team from Memphis. In my opinion, I don't know. I wouldn't even have him in the G League. But again, that's just me. So I'm not saying that he deserved to get hit. I expect more from Rudy. I'm okay with the suspension, JR, because it was in public and it was on the bench, and he threw a punch. Do you have any quick thoughts in general about the playoffs this year, with the focus being on? Is there somebody you think can do something? I'll start with you, JR. That may surprise some people. Is there a team that you think is going to go further than most people are giving them credit for?
I know y'all make things, but I still think the Bulls are going to go a little further. And I know people don't like their record and think they suck, but
I don't know anybody that says that. So, I mean, maybe in your circle.
I don't know anybody that says what you said.
Right. Yeah. I don't either. I don't know who you're talking to, that, but okay.
No, they're in the plan. I just think that they're going to do a little something. They might not win it all, but I think they'll go past. I think they'll go past the second round.
Freddie, who's a team to watch for you and why?
In the end, in the East, it's going to be either Boston, Milwaukee, or Philly in the East. So we're gonna. But if I do have to say a team that I would say watch, I would say Cleveland. The West is really so wide open, right? It really is wide open. So the team to watch in the West, I would say it would be the Lakers, to be honest.
I got it. You going with them, and JR's going with Chicago, and whoever is in JR's camp needs to stop telling him that they suck. I think they're doing fine. I think Freddie's on point in the East. I'm not picking a favorite, but I think the top is going to come out. But in the West, the two teams I want to watch, 3 and 4, Sacramento. I like the way they're playing right now, and I think Phoenix is a fun team to watch right now with Kevin Durant. They're not very deep, but man, they move that ball around. They got Chris Paul, doing some distribution. Ayton's playing better. I think the 3-4 guys are the ones to watch. I expect the Grizzlies to fall, Freddie. You know what I mean? At some point, when you talk about ones who can actually get knocked out early, it wouldn't surprise me if they get knocked out early. That's really all we got time for today. Before we roll out, let me check with the guys. JR, you got something to say today?
No, I think we discussed it last week.
Okay, yep. We don't roll them week to week. Freddie. Back to JR. Go ahead.
No, I don't want to keep beating the dead horse. I don't like these injuries at the end of the season where you might have a ticket for a game and you might be bringing your kid who has a favorite player and he doesn't get to see him. Why? Because he's got an injury. You know what I'm saying? This may be the first time they went to see him. They paid money for this ticket and they don't get to see who they want to see. Yeah, and I think that's unfair.
Basically, you did have something to say then. Yeah, Freddie, you got something to say.
I actually do, and it's not sports related. But yes, I do.
On the clock, go.
So I think most of us are aware of the situation going on that occurred in Tennessee, where there was another mass shooting, and then you had 2 African American congressmen basically kicked out of Congress. Expelled, yes. One has been replaced, reinstated. I don't know what is the status of the other gentleman, but I think we all have to take a long, hard look at who we are, what it is we value, and who it is we're voting for. A lot of people, they will vote for what is their interest. In the United States, we're in May now, April, there has been 146 mass shootings this year since January 1st. Something has to change.
Well said. You had two good I got something to say this week. Both of you guys, even though JR didn't claim his, is going on the record as I got something to say. That's all we got time for this week. We hope that you guys have had a good opportunity to watch the playing games. And then on April 15th, the NBA playoffs really begin. Enjoy it. Watch it. Come back next week. We'll have more for you then. Until then, we'll see you.